Good morning and welcome to Global Morning on Global Television Abuja. I am Sadia Yakubu and thanking you for joining me this weekend. Today's program focuses on an important conversation, socio-economic inclusion, and how we can better support people living with disabilities, why persons with disabilities have skills, talent, and desire to contribute meaningfully to the society. Many continues to face barriers in education, employment, healthcare, and access to public services, and also breaking the cycle of violence, supporting and empowering women on the show. We'll examine these challenges, discuss the role of government in providing equal opportunities, and explore practical ways to build a more inclusive society for us all. All right, stay with us. This is Global Morning Weekend Edition. When we come back from a short break, we'll dive straight into a newspaper review. Stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Welcome back from that short break, and now we're going straight into the newspaper review. Let's hear what the newspapers are saying about the happenings in our country. Once again, good morning and welcome to the program Global Morning Weekend Edition. I am Sadia Yakubu. And first to start with is the Punch newspaper. Yes, the Punch newspaper, Saturday edition, the first story, that's the lead story, saying planned Christmas Day attacks uncovered. Planned Christmas Day attacks uncovered. U.S. group says terrorists may hit Plateau, Benue, Kaduna, and that doubtfully not create a necessary panic presidency. And that's on page 5 of Saturday Punch. A next story saying police withdrawal. DSS officers lobby for VIP escort rules. Private security companies record unprecedented bomb. And then we have another story saying Kwamwan loses a grip on Awujale's tool. We have a picture of Mariam Sanda, husband killer Sanda's death sentence. All right. I think we'll take, in case you just need more details about that story, I think you just grab a copy of our Saturday Punch newspaper, and then you have a detail of that story there. We have another one showing no Christian Muslim genocide in Nigeria, says Tinubu. That's on page 9 of the Punch newspaper. We have another picture story there. EFCC inside Nigerians, a growing wave of job seekers using stolen certificates. Wow. How I broke Futa Academy record with 4.98 GPA. University best graduate Akin Dumbi. Then we have for business Refiners push for crude as Dangote slashes petrol price by 129. So in case you're interested in any of the headlines, any of the stories, you can just grab a copy of Saturday Punch and then you have detailed information about each of the headlines. Then moving on next is This Day newspaper. This Day newspaper, the first story or the lead story saying INEC registers 2,685,720 new voters as first phase of CVR ends. Then it has a picture story there. I really can't guess who and who we have on that picture, but I think one is Nasarawa State Governor, the current Nasarawa State Governor. Anyways, let's move ahead to the next story. We have AMCON suffers major defeat as court revokes attempt to place GHL under receivership. NUPRC issues a permit to 28 firm on the gas flare initiative, targets 2 billion investment. So in case you're interested in any of the stories, you can just grab a copy of This Day newspaper. Oyedele moves to calm fears ahead of January 2026 new tax laws rollouts. 2025 service of 9 lessons and carols. We have a picture story there of people breathing in beautiful attire. So in case you're interested in any of the stories, you can grab a copy of This Day newspaper, Saturday edition. And moving on next is The Nation newspaper. The Nation newspaper now leads story say banks to file reports on accounts with 25 million naira quarterly turnover. Banks to file reports on accounts with 25 million naira quarterly turnover, and that's on page 4 of The Nation newspaper, Saturday edition. Alleged 150 million exploitation. Power Minister reports Lagos prophet to DSS. Wow. Frustration as skyrocketing airfares threaten Christmas travels, and this is not a good one. That's on page 7 of The Nation newspaper. All right. Dangote slashes ex-depot petrol price from 828 to 699 per litre. And that's on page 3 of The Nation newspaper. Kudos to Dangote. Ex-Minister Ngige arraigned over alleged 2.2 billion contract fraud. Remanded in prison. All right. Supreme Court affirms Mariam Sanders' death sentence. No genocide in Nigeria, Tinubu insists. That's all we can take from The Nation's and newspaper. So in case you're interested in any of the headlines, any of the stories, all right, you can just grab a copy of The Nation newspaper, weekend edition. And moving on next is the Weekend Trust. The Weekend Trust newspaper and our lead story, West Africa unrest tests Nigeria. Weekend edition, Weekend Trust. Now lead story is saying West Africa unrest tests Nigeria. The rise, influence of a president's son. That's on page 10. Bulama for the cartoon, Nigeria. And a man carrying Nigeria on his shoulder while walking. All right, so we have Supreme Court upholds Mariam Sanders' death sentence, and that's on page 35 of Weekend Trust. Alleged 2.2 billion fraud, Ngige remanded in Kuje prison. In case you've been, who is this Ngige? He's a former minister under the administration of late President Muhammadu Buhari. Yeah. How Bachama Chobo relationship turned sour. That's on page 9. 28 of Weekend Trust edition of today's newspaper. So in case you're interested in any of the headlines, you can just grab a copy of any of the daily and trust the daily, any of the dailies. Moving on next is Saturday Vanguard, and Saturday Vanguard, it will be the last paper will be taken for today. Saturday Vanguard and Lead Series is saying more funds, more pains. Poverty is still rising as federal, state, local governments allocations double in 4 years. That's on page 10. All right. And next story, Supreme Court faults Tinubu's clemency, affirms death sentence for Mariam Sanda, and that's on page 7. Bad governance responsible for coup. Yeah, that's on page 12. Activists react to Benin military action. Supertanker seized by U.S. for crude oil theft. Last sailed to Nigeria in 2024. In Massa, that's on page 5 of the Saturday Vanguard. Eagle squad raises more questions than answers. That's AFCON 2025. Moving on next is the tax reforms. All right, no one will touch money in your bank account, Oyedele assures Nigerians, and that's on page 8 of Saturday Vanguard. And then last story for today, Saturday Vanguard, relief for commuters as Ubasani maintains free CNG transport scheme. And that's on page 11. That's how all we can take for the newspaper review. And don't forget, we'll be right back after the short break where I say we'll be discussing, our focus will be on important conversation of socio-economic inclusion and how we can better support people living with disabilities, why persons with disability have skills, don't forget they have talents and the desire to contribute meaningfully to society. Many continues to face barriers in education, employment, health and access to public services. I'll also be talking about breaking the cycle of violence, supporting and empowering women on the show. We examine these challenges, the roles, so don't go nowhere, stay glued and stay connected to Global Television. We'll be right back.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem?
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem?
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Good morning once again. It's still the weekend edition of Global Morning, and I am not doing this alone. Like I said before I called for the break, together with me in the studio is Honorable Muhammad Abba Isa, who is a Senior Special Assistant to President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, GCFR, on special needs and equal opportunities. As I will be having conversation focused on socio-economic inclusion, scaling support for people living with disability. We will highlight challenges faced by people facing disabilities, as well as government's role in providing equal opportunities. So, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Nice having you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, please, can you introduce yourself to my viewers?
Global Morning to Nigerian persons with disability. My name is Honorable Muhammad Abba Isa. I'm the Senior Special Assistant to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, on special need and equal opportunity.
Welcome to the show. Once again, nice having you on the Global Morning Weekend Edition.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's move quickly. How do How do WIC's social protection system appropriately affect persons with disabilities during economic crises or emergencies?
Thank you so much. And before I come to your question, I would like to use this opportunity to congratulate Nigerian persons with disability for commemorating International Day for Persons with Disability, and also to thank the development partners, the civil society organization, traditional institution, and subnational the governors who contributed immensely for the champion and to support the commemoration of this International Day of Persons with Disability. And I would like also to use this opportunity to thank Her Excellency, the Mother of the Nation, the Mother of Persons with Disability, Oluremi Tinubu, for her support, empowerment to community of persons with disability in all 36 states of the Federation, including FCTA. And this is a great milestone, and it has never happened in the history of Nigeria. And I want to thank everybody, individual philanthropists, for supporting the International Day for Persons with Disability. And coming back to your question, and which is in line with the theme of this discussion, socio-economic inclusion to community of persons with disability. And that means socio-economic, it means ensuring equal access, resources, services to community of persons with disability. Is on this note, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, under his wisdom, under his passion, created my office. And he gave me a mandate to collaborate with ministry, department, and agencies of government to make sure that the socio-economic inclusion of persons with disability are mainstream to all line ministry. You can see how government of the day are scaling the support of inclusion of persons with disability in all ramifications.
So why do many children with disabilities still remain out of school despite inclusive education policy?
Honestly, if you look at there is a lot of factors that are accumulated to these out of school children. If you look at issue of poverty, more especially children who person with disability, you cannot separate poverty and disability. And another thing is issue of insurgency. A lot of migrants, a lot of IDPs is also contributed to that factor. And the government play a key role in regard to the inclusive education to persons with disability. Why? Because for us to achieve the socio-economic inclusion of persons with disability, we have to focus on accessibility. Accessibility in terms of infrastructure, accessibility in terms of inclusive school, accessibility in terms of communication to other community of persons with disability. So you can see how government make a deliberate attempt by bringing a national policy for education. And if you look at it in another way, we have some agencies that their roadmap and some of their thematic focus is on inclusive education to children for persons with disability. Government in all part provide a legal framework, provide a policy framework, but for us to achieve fully inclusive, all hands must be on deck. It's not the responsibility of one person or government. Who are the government? Me, you, he, everybody, and other person is a government. So for us to achieve fully socio-economic inclusion for persons with disability, all hands must be on deck.
All right, talking about all hands must be on deck, what role should vocational and technical training play in improving employability for people with disabilities?
It will go a long way. If you look at majority of persons with disability, 80% of them, they are living in the rural area and they don't have even opportunity to go to the school, but they have God deposited talent on them if you engage them or if you train them into the skills development. My office came out with an initiative which President Bola Ahmed Tinubu launched it. We call it Beyond Disability Project. It's all about talent discovery. We discover the talent of persons with disability, we mine it, we utilize it. In the sense that you can see a physically challenged person where he has a skill in handcraft, and if you support him, he will navigate and he will become self-reliant. And with this initiative, we are going to empower almost getting to 36,000 persons with disability through skill and talent development. And we are collaborating with the Nigerian Directorate of Employment and other development partners. And we even make the plaque of the project in Kaduna State Government, and we are going to cover all 36 states. So there is a lot of initiative for vocational training that will take out persons with disability along the street, from street begging, in line with the Renew Hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. A lot of intervention under his administration.
All right. What you say now just make me remember someone back then in my state when I was working in a radio station then. All right, he's a person with disability. He do come to the station for interview.
Okay.
All right, so he came along with one guy one day, and the guy is into crafts.
Okay.
He does beads, earrings.
Yes.
I was surprised.
Yes.
I said, if I now give you these tools to do everything, can you do it? He said, yes. I was just wondering how.
That's why they are people of resilience. You know, God has a purpose
For everything.
for everything.
Yeah.
You can see you don't have eyes, but you have a vision.
Yes.
You cannot walk, but God provide something for you that you can depend yourself and you can inspire.
Really
Do you know that we have so many chefs that they can cook any dishes that you know, and they are visually. But we have Alimatu Sadia in Kaduna, so you can see how we have natural and talented persons with disability. When what we are calling is let's create enabling environment for them. It is the society that make persons with disability to become disabled, not their impairment. If the environment is access, if there is enabling environment, they will navigate. That is why President Bola Ahmed Tinubu created this office, in order to ensure the socio-economic inclusion is all mainstream in the ministry, department, and other agencies of government for persons with disability.
All right. Still on the employment and economic empowerment issue, what policy incentives can governments introduce to encourage employers to hire and retain persons with disabilities?
Thank you so much. You know, we have what we call discrimination against persons with disability provision act, which criminalize discrimination against persons with disability. You can see how government make a deliberate attempt in aligning Nigerian government with international treaty by signing a legal framework under this administration. And the government of the day went ahead and created National Commission for Persons with Disability in order to implement all this policy by collaborating with other agencies. So you can see this policy of ground make a provision of 5% minimum. It's not only 5%, we are talking of minimum of 5%. Whatever you are doing, at least when you are doing recruitment, you have to reserve at least 5% to community of persons with disability, whether you are in the MDA, ministry, department, and agency. And even has to do with even legislative. What we are saying is that if you are a House of Representative member
or a
senator, in the state level legislator, or wherever you are recruiting or engaging, employing, you are at, consider persons with disability in your constituency. Government in our own part make a provision of that 5%, and our office is working hand in hand with the National Commission for Persons with Disability and with the office of the head of service of the Federation. And so many persons with disability under this administration, they get opportunity through that 5% to be in flow. Why? Because we have a lot of qualified persons with disability in every field of studies that you know. And they are well organized. They have association for graduate persons with disability. They have their association. They have their data. They know they are safe. They are collaborating with my office and National Commission for Persons with Disability. So we have our data. So we have been engaging with Ministry, Department of Government, creating awareness for this 5%. And some of all the MDS were having a cooperation between their cooperation. Most of them, when they are doing recruitment, they used to consider persons with disability in fulfillment of the requirement that made by law Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Provision Act.
All right. Moving forward, how can entrepreneurship and access to finance be made more inclusive for persons with disabilities?
There is so many programs in line with the renewal of agenda for persons with disability in order to enhance the financial support for persons with disability through businesses. If you look at my office and the National Commission for Persons with Disability, there is so many programs under Federal Ministry of Monetary, conditional cash transfer, and other market money, women money. So all these small, they normally used to give it to persons with disability to support their business. Even this 200,000 that First Lady just recently gave to persons with disability is to support their business through Renew Hope initiative in order to renew their life, to renew their business. Through 200,000, if you give to a person with disability that is living in the rural area, I think it is enough for him to scale up. I think you have scaled the support to him in that business. So there is so many financial intervention that is going on in order to enhance the financial and socio-economic for persons with disability.
That's great. So what measures are needed to address workplace discrimination against persons with disabilities?
The only thing that we have a challenge in creating awareness. We realize that, Nigeria has a signatory to the United Nations Convention for Persons with Disability. And since the adoption of this convention, several efforts have been made through organizations of persons with disability, through civil society organizations, through development partners, in order to support and deepen the inclusion of persons with disability in all ramifications. There is a lot of achievement. The measure that we has put in place now is for us to foster collaboration and invest in creating awareness. Why? Because we are in the implementation stage of this act. But this implementation is too slow. Despite the fact it's only 6 years now. The bill that the act has been, the bill has came into being. But we thank God we are yet in there. If you look at it, we can make comparison with the other countries. Nigeria is a giant of Africa. If you come even to the case of the persons with disability, we are almost getting to 35 million Nigeria. And in all these West African countries, if you see, these treaties, the Office of the Senior Special Assistant, they don't even have this. So you can see how the government of the day make commitment in terms of persons with disability. Despite this thing, the implementation we are moving slow. American Disability Act is 35 years. And still, if you go to the American, you can still see a gap in implementation. So implementation is something that is gradually, and it needs a kind of effective and strategic collaboration from the all entities. That is the extent why I say all hands must be on deck. Traditional institution has a role to play. Why? Because they are the custodian of the people. Ministry, department, and organizations of persons with disability. Let the organization of persons with disability be on a driver's seat. Whatever there be a kind of engagement or conversation by the development partners or either entities of body or legislative, let them engage the organization of persons with disability and engage with the National Commission for Persons with Disability and the Office of the Senior Special Assistant for Mr. President, to Mr. President. Mr. President gave a directive. All this intervention that you are seeing that is going on, whether it is livelihood, whether it is through assisted device, 10% must go to the community of persons with disability.
That's a great job.
It's a very great job. And Mr. President, in order to scale up the support of persons with disability, by January next year, 2026, a committee was set up with Presidential Task Committee for the Implementation of Disability Act. There will be a representative of the enforcement agencies. Why? Because we need to impose, sometimes we need to impose compliance, and we need to impose. When we impose, we can achieve. So there is a representative of the security agencies, representative of the National Commission for Persons with Disability, my office, and representative of all the MDS, ministry, department, and agencies, even media. You are part of the EBIN committee. So, Mr. President will inaugurate this committee, and he will give us a mandate for accessibility audit. We are working hand in hand with the Association of Accessibility Professionals. It's an independent body, and they are collaborating with my office. Their mandate and their role, they will come and assess your office. Then they will advise you and guide you and train your staff. This is what you do. The place where you're supposed to do retrofitting, they will guide you. The place where you're supposed to put RAM, despite the inclusion is beyond RAM. There is so many this association professional that they will guide you. So this is what we are planning, and it's part of our work plan by 2026 to start moving in order to scale up the implementation.
All right, let's dive a bit into healthcare and social services. How does limited access to affordable healthcare worsen socio-economic exclusion for persons with disabilities?
Definitely, healthcare service delivery is very, very essential. There is a serious gap in terms of the healthcare service delivery. Why? Because if you have to look at it from the angle of the primary healthcare service. Why? Because in a situation whereby a woman with disability sitting on a wheelchair, she don't have access to the hospital because of the barrier of infrastructure. And if you come to the communication barrier, still you can go to the clinic. The doctor does not understand sign language interpreter. And most of these deaf people, they don't have the capacity to hire a sign language interpreter. So there must be a kind of sign language in all these health institutions. But under the leadership of the Federal Ministry of Health, the Honorable Minister made a giant strike. When I came on board, I collaborated with my office. We conducted a situation analysis, assessing the situation of the primary healthcare service delivery to community of persons with disability. And we came out, we have a report and recommendation which is now in the implementation stage. There is a national health policy for accessibility for persons with disability in all that is going through. So to make sure that all the primary healthcare and other hospital, it has become accessible to community of persons with disability.
So what role should governments play in ensuring mental health and services are accessible and disability inclusive?
Mental health, is one of the critical challenge of a community of persons with disability, and psychosocial support and intellectual. All you can see is a category of community of persons with disability. But I want to use this medium to commend the Joint National Association for Persons with Disability. It's an umbrella of community of persons with disability. And the mentally challenged is one of the cluster that is under this organization. And they are working hand in hand with the development partners and other agencies in order to create awareness and to mainstream the mental issue into the National Health Insurance scheme, which is very, very key.
Let's dive a bit into governance and accountability and inclusion. How can governments ensure disability inclusion is mainstreamed across all ministries and sectors?
I think I have answered this your question. Government has made a deliberate attempt by providing a legal framework. If you look at Nigeria is a member state of the United Nations Convention of Persons with Disability. Signing it with its optional protocol. What does that mean? When you sign it, you are bound to implement and promote the activities of persons with disability based on this article. This is one of the commitments the Nigerian government made. And if you look at, we have social protection policies in most of the 36 states of the Federation. Social protection policy is answer all what we have discussed is inculcated, and the state government are making effort in order to implement it and identify and align themselves with the international treaties. And if you look at, there is National Commission for Persons with Disability, which has mandate is to scale up the support of the community of persons with disability. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in order to scale up still, signed African Charter of Demand. So you can see how government make a deliberate attempt. But what I'm saying, the issue of implementation is the challenges that we are facing here. The implementation is too slow. And we identify there is a gap. The gap is lack of awareness, which is one of the gap. And the another thing is funding. Funding is very, very critical, whatever you are doing, a program or anything. That is why we are calling up budgeting inclusion, in the sense that all the ministries and agencies of government, they should operationalize or institutionalize the activities of community of persons with disability in their line item budget. When they are carrying and design, take them in the, if you put them in the design, then you can get it easy in the implementation. And organizations of persons with disability, they are working hand in hand through the National Assembly to make sure that we have closed that gap for the financial. So when they mainstream the activities, capture it in the budget, you can see how the implementation will be very good and we will achieve the implementation. Right. So you can see how the role of the government play a critical role in scaling up or advancing or deepening the inclusion of persons with disability in Nigeria.
Let's talk about technology and innovation and future pathways. How can digital technologies help bridge socio-economic gaps for persons with disabilities?
It would go a long way, honestly. Why? Because we are in the world of the technology and the ICT, in the sense that the world is going global, and community of persons with disability, when you engage them, even the economic growth, Nigeria is going to achieve a domestic product and economic growth. Why? Because assistive devices is very, 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 very key. If you don't have assistive devices, there is no way you can navigate. And the world is going global now. The NIDA, they have done a lot. That is National Institute of Technology, NIDA. NIDA, they came up with what we call is a digital literacy, whereby community of persons with disability will be empowered through digital skills so that they will become cerebral reliance. If you look at, if you go to the international community, if you look at their community of persons with disability, because of the digital technology, they make things easy. Your disability cannot stop you to do anything. And if there is technology, it will going to assist you in navigating to make this easy.
All right. How can innovation and inclusive design be integrated into public service delivery?
Definitely, it's through advocacy. We need to intensify through advocacy. Some of the duty bearers or some of the policy maker, they don't understand even the issue of persons with disability. And they are in the place of the implementation. So it is our duty, it is the duty of the media, it is the duty of the organization of persons with disability, it is the duty of the government, it is the duty of the everything to come out with a strategic policy advocacy, and this is what we are doing. And that's the essence why President Bola Ahmed Tinubu appointed my office as a watchdog, to work hand in hand with this MDS to guide them and to tell them what they're supposed to do for us to achieve.
Let's talk about equity and intersectionality. How do gender, age, and location intersect with disability to deepen socioeconomic exclusion?
Definitely, there is serious gap in this issue. When it comes to the intervention or equity, for instance, in the case of age barrier, age of persons with disability should not be a barrier for them to get an employment. We are always advocating for that, in the sense that most of their age they spend in the challenges that they did not even attend schools. You can see how it going to become a barrier for persons with disability. And we always emphasize about children and women, more especially women, when it comes to the gender issue. Women, they face multiple challenges. Multiple challenges in the sense that they have disability and also they are a woman. If you make a comparison with the category of persons with disability, like spinal cord injury issue, if you have a woman that she has a spinal cord injury, you can see how devastation she will feel, and you can see how that impact have a multiply effect to the women with disability.
So how can governments, let's go back to education a bit, how can governments better support teachers and schools to accommodate learners with diverse disabilities?
Definitely it's through professional one, through training, through empowerment. And that is the reason why recently, if you are falling under the Federal Ministry of Education, there is even loan for the teachers and lecturers for them to empower them. Why? Because when this administration came on board under the Federal Ministry of Education, there is a lot of initiative in order to empower even students. You know, we have a student loan on this administration. Even if you don't need to know anybody before you can get loan. You don't need to go and ask for any kickback before you can see how this administration make a lot in providing a playing ground for a teacher, for teachers, for them. Why? Because you have to build their capacity and you have to provide incentive. And Federal Ministry of Education, they are doing their best in terms of that aspect.
So how can innovation and inclusive design be integrated into,
You are repeating question.
Sorry,
you are repeating question.
What targeted interventions are needed for women and girls with disability?
Honestly, there is short time and long time targeted intervention, in the sense that the financial empowerment for women with disability. I came to understand that we have a lot of women in Nigeria that they are entrepreneurs. When you empower them, they will become self-independent and they will take care of your community. Women, they have that passion. And we are working hand in hand with the organizations of persons with disability, and we have their data and they are doing their best.
All right, let's talk about measuring impact and sustainability. So how should governments measure progress towards a meaningful socioeconomic inclusion of persons with disabilities?
Honestly, there is need to strengthen the relationship between the MDS and National Commission for Persons with Disability. National Commission for Persons with Disability, they are responsible for the implementation of this law. And this act provides everything. Apart from the act, we have what we call Accessibility Regulation Act. It's a policy that inculcates everything about the design, the support of accessibility and infrastructure in Nigeria. And there must be a kind of effective collaboration between the ministry, Federal Ministry of the Health, as the MDS, and as I told you, for us to have fully implementation.
All right, so you as a person, as a senior special assistant to the president on equal opportunities,
special need and equal opportunity.
What have you done so far for persons with disability?
Honestly, since we came on board, in line with his determination of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in order to bring segment of the society within the ambit of law, there is a lot of advocacy for the creation of this office. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he came on board, then he created this office and he gave me a mandate, as I told you, to work closely with the ministry, department and agency to make sure their policy plan and ministry and is all inclusive. And since I came on board through this 5% employment, I work closely with the MDS and with the organization of the unemployed persons with disability. So many persons with disability that they are graduate, they are gainful employment under my leadership since I came on board. And in times of skills acquisition, I collaborated with the Ministry of Humanitarian and SMEDAN. We have been collaborating and we have empowered so many women with disability, with skills and toolkit, and they have become self-resilient. And currently we have plugged up that daddy, that is discovery ability in disability. It's about talent development that we are intended at least to empower almost getting to 36,000 persons with disability. And if you come to financial support, we empower thousands of persons with disability. We collaborated with the SMEDAN and with the starter kits that we have done. So we are working, and my office is open for collaboration. You cannot achieve partnership without collaboration. You cannot achieve inclusion in isolation. So inclusion has to do with access and participation. So create access and participate in the process of the design. So my office is open for collaboration. I'm working with the organization of persons with disability, that is Joint National Association of Persons with Disability, and I'm working at the subnational, that is governors. Mr. President gave me a mandate to work with the governors at subnational level. And I thank God, since I came board of office, we advocate. At least now we have almost getting to 37 states that they have signed the act and established a state commission for persons with disability. And we have almost getting to 29 offices that they have SSA on disability to their governor. So you can see how we are working hand in hand, even with traditional institutions, as I mentioned to you, development partners, civil society organizations, banks, through their corporate social responsibility. That's the reason why I'm saying I even thank bank. Why? Because they supported so many organizations of persons with disability. So you can see how we can do in order to scale up support. We should not push blame only to the government or no. We are all who have a responsibility and a role to play. We are all stakeholders for development.
All right, so last question for the day before I let you go. How can long-term sustainability be ensured in disability inclusion programs?
I didn't get the question.
I said, how can long-term sustainability be ensured in disability inclusion programs?
Honestly, through commitment. Commitment in the sense that let the community of persons with disability be on a driver's seat. Let them take the ownership. That is through rehabilitation, community-based rehabilitation. Let the approach be a kind of bottom-top approach to development, in the sense that let the community place their priority, not development partners to come and give them their entry point. This is the way how we can have sustainability. Why? Because community of persons with disability, they know their friends, their relative, they know where they are. They know what is their problem. He who wears the shoe knows where it is. So that is the only way how we are going to achieve sustainability. Involve them fully, right from the design of the project up to the implementation.
I have someone again, I just remember, it's a person with disability. You know, when I worked in radio station, I will have a special program for persons with disability that we do every Sunday. All right, so we have one guy, he's physically blind. Let me just use that word, blind. All right.
Visually impaired.
Yeah. So he does what we call this grinding.
Grinding.
So I wonder how
it's
he
vision.
does that.
I told you it's vision. God has a purpose for everything. I have a friend, is Tairu. He's a visually impaired and he's a lecturer. He's from Katsina. He's the APC leader, state leader. You know, in all 36 states of the Federation, in all 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria, in all 774, in all 8,000 plus wards that we have in Nigeria, we have persons with disability, their leader. Do you know this?
No.
So you can see how what government did. We have it. That area he will come from Katsina. He's not moving with guide or aid somebody. Jaguar that
yeah.
He don't move with Jaguar. So it's a kind of the vision. God has a purpose. How do you expect that a visually impaired woman can cook food better than you now?
I wonder.
You know, Halima can cook food better than you. Halima can cook food. She's a chef, good chef. Big people, they will come to patronize her every day. So you can see how vision. So what I'm trying to say here is that community of persons with disability, they are people like resilient. Why? Because me, I know I'm not like that. I'm working with my leg. 2 legs. I experienced double leg working. And after the accident, see what in my impairment mold me, build me to become resilient and to become an advocate for it. But the only thing why you can do, just accept with a very good, remain courage and remain focused for whatever you are doing.
So what goodwill message do you have for our viewers?
No, I want to have a very good message to my message. I really appreciate for giving me this opportunity. And I want to also thank you. When I came to the office, I saw persons with disability. I say, maybe you start implementing the 5%. 5%. Yes, 5%. I really appreciate that. So I establish a collaboration now between the Office of the Senior Special Assistant with Global TV so that we can work through your corporate social responsibility. Yeah, so that we can work through corporate responsibility. Right. So I want to also create this impression in the sense that we are not media aware, because we are I'm making this advocacy now for a long. We are not person or people living with disability. We are not living with disability. We are living with our family and friends. The conventional pronunciation is persons should come first with disability. Not living
with disability.
Why? Because I saw you put it in your banner. Person living with disability. So we are not living.
All right, so let me apologize for that. You know, today you have educated me more, you've enlightened me more about that. All right, so we have a lot of persons making this kind of mistake, all right?
Yes,
but since you clarified it now, we'll definitely
Thank you so much.
So we've come to the end of this segment with our special guest in person of Honorable Muhammad Isa Abba, who is the Senior Special Assistant to President Bola Tinubu, GCFR, on special needs and equal opportunities. Thank you once again for coming to Global Morning on Global Television.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channels 276. You can also follow us across all the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, using Global TV NG. The program will continue after the break, so stay tuned.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global